Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Roundtable in July 2026. We've got a lot of classes today, and we're going to start strong with AMP 101. So a couple of things before we get going is I will be recording this session and making it available for folks to watch after the fact. So if you don't want your audio or video captured in that recording, go ahead and mute and turn off your cameras now. And you'll see this reminder a number of times throughout the day is once you're done with taking your classes, please make sure for the event to fill out the attendance and feedback form. This gives a two-part hit. One is it lets me and the Roundtable staff send up to the great officers, folks who attended warranting classes, so we can kind of get double coverage on who's taken their training. And then the other thing that I find the most important is it's feedback on the event. How do things go? What can we improve? What should we change? And what do you like about the event? So those are my two announcements. And so let's get started with AMP. For those who don't know me, my name is Harsakona Kolfina and Kira Altar's daughter. I'm the current Kingdom Web Minister of Ansteorra. And I have been working with AMP and the AMP team for a long time, and I'm very excited to be working on this project and giving you the basics of AMP today. For the nerds out there, we're currently on AMP 1.5. That's going to be going live. We're aiming for tomorrow. But this AMP 101 is going to be covering the core functionality that should hit kind of everyday usage for folks. The slides of here are not going to take me the full hour, so there will be time for questions. And I know we've got Jillian and Martin I see in the call who are also working with very closely on the AMP team, so we might be able to chatter about new features and stuff near the end and take questions. So onward. Oh, helps to be on the right slide. Okay, this is generally what I'm going to talk about. What is it? What does it do? Core features. I'm going to briefly mention kind of what I'm calling our special user types and other AMP features that you could see depending on what offices or roles you're in. I'm going to talk about what's next for AMP, specifically what's coming out in the release tomorrow. And then the rest of it, like I said, Q&A and demo. We can screen share and do all sorts of stuff. So what is AMP? AMP, it stands for the Ansteorra Management Portal. This is the web portal that we use to manage, these are kind of our top modules, user counts, our marshal activities, database authorizations, award recommendations, offices, who's hired, who's coming up, who's getting released, warrants for those officers or roles, and gatherings, and I know it's near and dear to Jillian's heart right now, waivers. AMP helps make our administration simpler, more centralized, and more secure. It is an open source project, and me and the developer team are always looking for folks who are interested in getting their hands in the code, helping us test, bumping through our test environment and trying to find those edge cases that are gonna, break as soon as folks get in there, and develop new features. So if you're at all interested in that, sorry. We have an AMP Discord server that you can join and kind of raise your hand and say, I want to help, and we'll get you connected. You get to AMP by going to amp.ansteorra.org. You can see the image here. This is what your login is going to look like. You can log in with an existing account or register as a new user. I don't know. I'm kind of skimming the participant list. If you happen to have had an account with the original Marshall database, you can use that login too. I think most folks who are active have already logged into AMP, so that may not really be a reminder that I have to say anymore, but I'll say it anyway. What does it do? So this is going to be the informational slides. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly, but if at any point folks have questions or I say something that doesn't make sense, raise your hand or unmute and say, wait, I have a question. So let's go through these modules. What do they do? User accounts is available to everybody. It allows you to have a profile, configure your profile information, SCA name, pronunciation. There's additional info that you can add, like court preferences, which is relevant for the awards module. Those are something that is visible only to nobility. It's very tightly scoped. But it gives you an interface to view your profile and your history of authorizations, your history of offices that you've held, and award recommendations that you've submitted. Sorry. Marshal activities. This is what all of the marshals and authorizing marshals in Ansteorra use to manage your authorizations. It's where you can pull up your authorization card. It allows, it's the now you go through AMP if you want to request new authorizations, if you need to renew them. Our marshals can view, approve, deny requests, and we've rolled out, was it in January? It was either January or the one before, even slicker version of a mobile app, so you can pull up your mobile auth card on your phone with just one tap. And it's how our Kingdom Marshal officers generate their authorization rosters to send up to the Earl Marshal for all that fun paperwork. We love it. The award recommendations module. This is a two-part module. So one, everybody in the kingdom can use it to submit award recommendations. Give me a reaction in the chat if you've used it. And it's where our seated nobility, so that's our crown, Vinham Cornet, and our landed nobility, can view those award recommendations and process them. Processing right now is viewing them. They can change the status to we're giving it, schedule it at an event, and once things are given, they can mark it as given. And it gives our nobility an interface to track those recommendations, see the status, see what's come in, look through the history and see what might have gotten missed. And yeah, good note from Martin in the chat is everybody can use this module to submit award recommendations, whether or not you have a profile in AMP. You don't have to create a profile to submit recommendations. If I go back on that login page, right, you can log in, put in your email address and password, or click the big gold button and you can just submit recommendations right out of the gate. The benefit to submitting recommendations when you're logged in is that AMP will keep track of that on your profile so that you can view your the things that you've submitted and go, did I put in so-and-so for a thistle? Let me check. And this is a new feature that's going to be rolling out with this roundtable, is we're adding in a new feature that allows our nobility to say, once they say, I want to give this award and I'm scheduling it for an event, they can delegate a subset of the data about that award to their staff. So, for example, the scribe and herald can see, you know, the SCA, who's it going to be, what's the event, and they can get started on doing scrolls and court prep. We're very excited for that module, for that to be coming out and letting our nobility get their hands on it so that we can continue to improve that. Offices keeps track of who's been hired when. The history on AMP only dates back to AMP 1.0. We didn't, the amount of effort and gaps in knowledge for trying to backfill, doing a complete backfill was not possible. I'm going to say not possible. So starting forward, once AMP got using, we have a history of your office's current, upcoming, and previous. Offices module allows, for example, your local seneschal can appoint deputies. A good example is event stewards. Regional and kingdom officers can hire folks or release folks in their department. And then it's got other features to allow the great officers to view, you know, their whole department roster and submit it up to the crown for warranting. Speaking of warrants, society policy, we love it, don't we? Requires officers, majority of our officers, to be warranted, which means that the great officer and the crown have to say, I give this person the authority to do this job for this amount of time. It's a time box, little grant of authority, which is all sorts of fun because AMP takes care of the administration behind that for us. And so the process in Ansteorra is our grade officers at every round table use AMP to say, let me generate my roster of officers, double check membership expiration dates are good, and they say, yep, this is my department, sends it to the Crown, and the Crown gets a button where they can then review the same roster and say, approve. And once that approval is done, we have checked the box for policy, and everybody's good to go. And then waivers. Speaking of society paperwork, we have, everybody hopefully is familiar with waivers. These are the liability waivers. You sign them in practices. You have youth waivers, minor waivers, any number of things. And AMP, the waiver module, allows folks to upload those waivers into the system to say, here's the waivers for this activity. They go straight to the waiver secretary now, who has a nice, exciting dashboard so they can keep track of what waivers are in, what are out, who's behind the game. I know Jillian, as our current waiver deputy, has been using that very heavily. And gone are the days of what, spreadsheets to manage them. And then the gatherings feature. In order to, submit a waiver for a gathering, we got to be able to schedule gatherings in AMP. So the gathering module is the tool that does that. Everybody can view gatherings in AMP. If you log in and hit your menu, you can look at a calendar of activities, filter by group, etc. Local seneschals can create and manage gatherings for their local group, and then the waiver deputy and the calendar deputy can also manage and create gatherings. Currently, the gatherings module, you can use it as if you're kind of a first-time user, you can mark your attendance on gatherings. You can see information about activities that are scheduled on it. In Ansteorra, we haven't done a shift to like a full adoption of gatherings, and so it's very possible that some gatherings will have lots of detail because the seneschal or whoever put it all in there, and you'll have some gatherings that only have the minimum they need in order to be able to submit their waivers. So there's still a bit of variability there. Oh yeah, I was going to do a demo. I'm going to actually pause on this. I'm going to come back and do the demo at the end because I want to talk about other features. I'm going to talk about what's coming up, and then I'm going to shift into demo and Q&A for the rest of the call. So AMP has other features. Some of these I've kind of mentioned, but they're in here with the slides for reference. Authorized marshals, or rather authorizing marshals, I should fix the spelling on that, can use AMP to view and approve authorization requests, and can even, if they have the AMP mobile app, view and approve them straight from your phone. This is a really cool feature that I've seen in practice at like my local practice, where somebody was going through authorization fights. They were saying, yep, everybody's good to go. They requested the authorization on their phone. The marshal pulled up theirs and said, I approve. And to make it nice, very, very streamlined. To say, again, gone are the days of having to send an email and wait for weeks and hope that your authorizing marshal remembers his password. AMP also lets I talked about waivers. The waivers module, you can basically, folks who can upload waivers, if you're a local warranted officer in any department, if you're a regional officer, then you can upload waivers. The idea there is folks who might be the responsible officer for a practice that might need waivers have the ability to upload them. Local seneschals, right? They can add managed gatherings, hire their deputies. Kingdom regional officers can hire within their chain. Grade officers, we talked about rosters and submitting warrant officers up to the Crown. Seat of nobility, view and processing awards. And then we have our calendar deputy, waiver deputy, marshal secretary also have special permissions. I mention these because if you step into any of these roles, you might gain extra menu items, extra features, or have extra tasks that you need to do in AMP with these other user types. Ooh, okay. Coming up next for AMP, so this roundtable is AMP 1.5, which is a big release
Did we lose Colfina?
Looks like it.
Oh, there she is. She's back.
Good now.
If there's anything that meets my attention. Talking about waivers. Future where we can move Facebook from things. It's possible. It's always possible. Yeah, I see the comments about letting marshals review waivers that they've submitted in the past, and alerting marshal uplines so that they can track them down and work them as well. Those are very good feature requests that Martin, if you can make a note of that so we can talk about them at the next dev meeting. And I'm going to let folks think for a bit while I pull up our dev instance. Yay. So I can screen share. Let me move you guys to the side. All right, so I'm logged into our alpha. Window. Alrighty. Folks see that? I see a heart. Yay! So I've talked through the basics in the slides. Barring questions that folks have for me to demo like specific features, what I've got right now is our dev instance up. This instance is full of absolutely fake data. There's no real no real data in here. But it lets us test features. Say right now what I'm doing is we have a basic user. This is Iris, who has no offices, so no special permissions for that, and it allows us to basically so that I can show you what things will look like if you just create your account on day one and what features you can use. So let me go through. I'm going to just kind of start going through the basics, and if you got questions, interrupt me. So when you create, we were saying basic user accounts, right? When you log in, you have your profile. This is your starting page that you come to, and you can put in a lot of information on your profile. To start, I think the only field that's required, the basic information we need is an email address. You've got to have one so you can log in. We require birth date because we need to be able to distinguish youth accounts from adults. That's for security and just being responsible stewards of people's information. And then I think I don't know if we even know if we require you to put in an SCA name, but you can add in any number of other things if you want to include name, pronunciation, and pronouns. Typically, this isn't visible to other users, but for nobility who are processing awards and perhaps needing to pass that information along to their court herald, that kind of information can be super helpful. If you're applying for offices, because offices require warrants, at least the majority of them do. We do have some non-warranted positions. You may also then be required to put in your email address, phone number, or mailing address, phone number, and SCA membership information. On your profile, you get a number of tabs, so you can view authorizations, current ones, pending ones, previous ones. There's also quick buttons if you need to renew, to say, aha, my authorization is expiring. Let me get that extended. Same thing for offices, current, upcoming, and previous. This is our basic user, Iris, who has none. You can look at award recommendations. You can see Iris, we like to use Iris to submit award recommendations for test purposes. You can look at if you have any roles that are associated with offices or authorizations, those will be listed here. You can look at gatherings that you've RSVP'd for. There is an RSVP button here, but I'm going to skip it for now. And then the last tab that I really want to highlight is that additional information. This is court preferences is what we call it. So if you'd like to specify so that nobility can, if you get recommended for an award, you can specify to the nobility if you have preferences about being called into court. Never with notice given to a person. You can include that information. And then we know some folks, families, work, any number of things can affect schedules. And so if you also have, can specify, I'm never going to be at evening court, morning only, you can put that in there as well. Other basic profile features. So you can, if you're keeping your membership information in AMP up to date, one feature that AMP does not have, we're working on it, is a direct connection to the society Neon CRM, so that if we had it, we could say, hey, society, does this person have a valid membership? And they would say, yep. And it would be so cool. We don't have that yet. And so when you renew your membership at society, AMP doesn't know about that. There's a big wall. There's no connection there. And so there's a button on your profile where you can update a screenshot of your new membership information. This should include your name, your member number, and the expiration date. If we don't have all three of those, we can't update your profile. And you can submit that, and that goes into a queue. The admins can see, we review it, and then once it's reviewed, those screenshots get wiped away. Oh, I see a question in the chat. Best practice when we see an award for our herald. We don't want them to see. I'm just going to say this out loud for the recording. Yeah, best practice when if a nobility receives an award for their herald that the nobility doesn't want them to see. Kind of reading through Martin's response, that edge case currently is to not run those through AMP, or don't mark them in AMP as scheduled. For the delegating to staff, scheduling an event is the trigger that says, now staff can see it. And so if you're trying to be sneaky and not let your staff see awards that might be destined for them, don't schedule them in the system or handle them outside of AMP. And then to echo Martin, we are game for other ideas and other ways to handle that in the system. And so if folks have those, please share them along. Ooh, this is a good question. Can AMP send reminders for things such as expiring warrants or membership? Can it? Can we do it? Yes. Have we implemented it? No, but it's been something that's been asked about, and we've been talking about it recently, and adding that as a feature very soon. Because if you get the email from Society that says renew, but if you don't also get the nudge from AMP, forget to go in and update it. So that is a feature that we're planning on implementing. Did I answer all the chat questions? I think so. Okay. Going back through, I'm just going to continue my little demo until we get questions. I'm going to go with the coolest feature next. I mentioned a couple of times that you can view AMP, the mobile app. I just clicked. Let me go back. Let me talk through what I'm doing. If you log into AMP through the browser, at the top of your page, there's a button that says mobile. If you click on it in your browser, it brings you to the mobile friendly view. And let me make my screen a better size. Let's see if it'll. Yeah, so, if you're on your phone, now we're long and skinny, as you would see, you would basically have a mobile friendly view of what is your mobile auth card is the starting place. From there, you have a much simpler menu so that if you need to request authorizations, you go to that mobile friendly view, you click request auths. You can then choose your activity. Ooh, wooden lance. And if there are folks who can approve that authorization, they'll show up in the list. Like I mentioned, I'm in the dev instance, so we create test data. So we have scale member 1 who can approve wooden lance, so I can submit that request for Iris. If you are able to submit waivers, you can click on that and upload waivers into AMP. Doing so, it'll bring you to the mobile. There's a term for this menu, and I've lost it in my head. And if
wizard, I think, is what you're looking for.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the wizard. And so if there aren't waivers on file for activity, or if you need to upload them, you can do that here. The way that uploading waivers works is we also have, we understand that sometimes you'll have a practice and everybody has a blue card, or sometimes you have a practice and nobody fights, so nobody signed a waiver. And so you say, oh, I need to upload waivers, but nobody signed one. What do I do? You still use this wizard, and you can, it'll give you the option to either upload a waiver or attest we didn't have one. You just click a button that says no, there weren't any waivers, and you say everybody had a blue card, and click submit, and that handles it for you. On your mobile devices, it's one thing to to open, have your Chrome browser open and have a mobile friendly menu. We like it, but apps are cooler. On there's two ways that you can basically convert this mobile friendly web page into an app. One is from your profile. You can get an email link to your mobile card that'll give you a URL that'll take you to the same mobile friendly version of your AMP account. And I don't think this is going to work on my desktop, but in Chrome, you go to the menu and there's a option that says add to home screen. And if you click that, then it gives you two options. You can save either a shortcut to the web browser, just nice but not as cool, or you can install it as an app on your phone, and that's the one that you want to do. If you're on a Mac device, you click, instead of the menu at the top right, there's the little share button at the bottom center. It's a little square with an arrow on it. If you click that, it'll give you the same thing. You can add it to home screen and save it as an app. And it's pretty slick. Any questions about the mobile menu before I keep puttering through features?
I have a question. What is the RSVP?
Yay! I'm glad you asked. So in AMP, we have gatherings. The first iteration, like the first version of gatherings in AMP, was built because we wanted to support waivers, and you can't upload a waiver for like a fighter practice unless you also have fighter practice. And we have been slowly expanding this module. Where's the... I was going to go to that more here. Let's go to this one. It's got a fun name. So in AMP, just by default, you can just view gatherings. And so if you know your local seneschal has got your fighter practices on there, you can see those in AMP. And if you click on them, you can see the basic information about the gathering: date and time, location, what group is hosting, if they have address, location added, etc. What sort of activities are scheduled for that gathering. Right now, you can see it's Kingdom Court and Gate. Activities could be, rapier combat, martial combat, youth activities, arts and sciences classes. It's a customizable kind of list of what activities are happening. And then there's this feature for attendees. The gatherings module allows you to mark your attendance. If you say, I want to mark or register and say, yep, I'm going. This just says in your profile, you say you've marked that you're intending to go to that event. You have the option to choose who can see that information. The count, number of people, 1, 2, 10, will be visible to folks who view the event. But you can choose who can actually see your SCA name, and if you add a note, we can see that. Share with the kingdom is one option. The host group and crown can see your name. That means if a crown is processing award recommendations and they need to schedule it, the system, if you've marked RSVP and they're looking at a award recommendation for you, it'll say, hey, maybe prioritize these gatherings because this person is actually RSVP'd for those. You can share with the hosting group. So that's hosted the event. So like local seneschal, event stewards, any staff that has been assigned to the group. And then you can also share nobility and crown if you want to do that.
Yeah, Kofina, I believe the share with Kingdom is so that other people will see that you are going to be attending that gathering.
Oh, okay. Yep,
And
I
then
had
the
those
nobility
backwards.
crown is for the award recs. Yeah.
Yep, sorry, that's good. I had those backwards. Yeah, nobility and crown would be, say, only them. Kingdom is other folks in the kingdom. If they are viewing these gathering details, they'll see your SCA name in the attendees list. I'm trying to think if there's other. So if you RSVP for a gathering, the other thing that will happen. Go. Is it not working? It's a demo. It's broken. I don't think I can register for this one.
On it.
But if you can RSVP, as Martin goes for a hot fix, and you go back to your profile, those will also show up. Oh, I think it is working. The little pop-up just wasn't going away. So you can look at those. You can also edit your attendance if you want to say, never mind, take it off. I'm not going. Things have changed. You can also remove that RSVP and it'll be toggled on and off. A note about the RSVPs for gatherings. So right now, the kind of use case, the only for that is nobility scheduling awards. Appreciate having a little more information on, is this person actually going to be at that event? And so it can be super useful in that lens. As we continue to, as the kingdom, start to use AMP more and more for, managing where our events are happening, where are the event details, things like that. Marking attendance for an RSVPing events will become more and more useful also to like event staff or feast stewards to say how many people are going to be at this event, to be able to scale up things like that. We are not to that point yet as far as how heavily we're using this module, but we're building these features in kind of with future usage in mind. So if folks have ideas or requests related to that, we're always happy to hear them, to kind of build the tool to make our future smoother. Checking the chat. Back to the waiver review question. I'm reading what Jillian's responded. While we're figuring out how to make the option to review submitted waivers possible, you can take a picture of the waiver so that it is in your camera roll. Then you can always reference it later. When you're uploading waivers, you can choose either a picture, an existing photo from your camera roll, or you can snap a picture and upload it in the moment. The note on that is if you upload it from your camera roll, you retain a copy of the picture. If you take a photo when you're uploading it, your device won't also save a copy. It'll only get sent up to AMP. Any other questions or other features, things that we want to demo? Right now I'm in as the Iris basic user, but if folks are, if we've covered all the details for that, I can always impersonate a different type of account. Yeah, Seneca.
I did notice that when you're looking at the RSVP for gatherings, some events, like I was just looking for RAM, for example, are not in there. Is that because they listed it, or is it because it's just not there?
That's just because it hasn't been added in AMP yet. The driving kind of requirement to create gatherings in AMP is seneschals have to create gatherings so that waivers can get uploaded. And so it's very likely that they haven't created it because they're not thinking about the waivers for that activity yet.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Other questions? Yes, I heard a hand. Jillian.
Kofina, do you want to show people how to filter the gathering calendar?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And make a default view and stuff like that?
Yes. Yes, I can. So this is our test instant. This is a nasty calendar. I don't like looking at this. I can't see what's going on. You have the ability to filter the gatherings calendar. You can filter by branch, including Kingdom Land, which is fun. The type of activities that are on there. Again, right now, this is waiver driven. So the activity types are things that need waivers. We have other activity types. I guess that's waiver type. Other activities that might be on the event. Again, waiver driven. And so folks, if, Steps Warlord is throwing Warlord into AMP right now, they may or may not actually add Baronial Court as an activity because that's not something that needs waivers, so it may or may not show up at this point. You can search by the status of the activity and start and end date. So let's filter by group. Come on, here we go. And that's much nicer to look at. And so you can use those filters. You can even search and filter if you wanted to go, say I'm in these 3 groups all the time. So let me set up a filter so that I can see those in there. I'm not seeing the option to save a filter on this view. Am I missing that?
Is it in the list view?
Maybe. Let's
Because
find
I know
out.
we were messing with it.
Oh,
here.
yeah, there we go. So list view. This is roundtable filter. You can customize your filter, right? I do the same thing. We pick a few groups. Oh, let's get rid of the start and end dates. Here we go. Pick a couple of groups. Let's do Moon Shadow again. And then you have the option to set that view as your default so that when you come back to your calendar, I guess it's only in the list view right now. We can work on that. You can get a persistent filter on your calendar. Yes, Martin.
Yeah, so if you go back to calendar real quick.
Yeah.
What you also can do is if you filter this view, you can then click subscribe, and that will get you a link with your filter that you can then put into your own calendar.
Ooh, I hadn't used that yet. Nice.
So then you can put that in your Outlook or your Google or wherever, and that'll be a feed to that information. And we can do this because calendar events are public information. We publish them everywhere. They're not private. And so this is an unauthenticated, just like a valid route to public information. That's just pre-filtered by however you chose to filter it.
Nice. Yep. So, and you can actually create a pretty complex filter. Like if you want to, see equestrian activities in Bringwalad, and then have a custom feed for that, and then make multiples and subscribe your calendar to it. That could be really cool. Jillian.
So I could create a filter of all the kingdom events and subscribe to it, and then it will show up in my personal Google Calendar or Outlook calendar, and it will update as new kingdom events are added.
Yep.
Yay!
And folks might be thinking it on our current kingdom calendar. You have the ability to view, and you can import the kingdom calendar to your device. The goal, at least I think I can say confidently from the AMP team, is we want to render the current kingdom calendar. We just want to write it out of the business and instead build AMP to cover all those use cases and make it cooler and more useful. I heard a hand. Seneca.
Is there any way, I noticed that, like, say if you go to an event or one of the gatherings, you can't RSVP, or at least I don't see a way of just RSVPing from there. Am I missing it, or is that not there yet?
From the view pop-up that I have right here.
Right.
So for gatherings that have already ended, you can't RSVP. Let me click on something in the future. So that button won't show up. But it should, that mark your attendance should show up for anything that's in the future.
Okay, so you would do mark your attendance, not to say that you attended, but that you're wanting to attend.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, to be clear, mark your attendance isn't available on a previous event. So it's like the button's not there when the event is in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually a good point, that mark your attendance. We might noodle on different phrasing to say I plan to attend or something that's a little clearer.
what we're trying to avoid here, to be clear, is that this is not your PayPal pre-registration. And so we don't want people confused that you still need to go to your PayPal pre-registration if you want to pre-register for an event. So we're bouncing around language to avoid that confusion.
Yeah. But yeah, the mark your attendance, that's RSVP and mark your attendance. Those are this button is the RSVP button. Oh, I didn't talk about this, but another feature that is relatively recent is we also added the option if you want to upload a profile photo to your account, you can do that. The most users can't see your profile, so it's not going to be something that's public facing, but it is something that nobility, right? If they're looking at award recommendations, they say, let me look at this look at this person's SCA name, and so if you've opted in to include a profile photo, that's something that they could see.
And there are some groups that require a photo ID when going through the marshaled area, and that is a photo, and your authorization card is an ID.
Ta-da.
That's where we built this from. That's why we built this. It was specifically around requiring photo IDs at some large events. It's not very common in Ansteorra, but it is something that sometimes gets asked for at other large events.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So we're about got about 10 minutes left in the call. I think I'm looking at the NP view. I think we've kind of talked through all the main features. At this point, I'm gonna say, kind of, I feel like we're done. However, I'll stick around in the call if folks are gonna continue thinking about it or have questions until we get to the next hour. I see a hand from Amanda.
Hey, you just mentioned that you were the ultimate plan for AMP is to replace the Kingdom calendar. Are there plans for AMP to include like the PayPal links and the links to the websites and stuff like that? Because that's what I go to the Kingdom calendar for.
Yeah. Let me go to. Let me find a event that does this have Warlord in it? The one that we keep testing with.
It should have the. It's in September. It's in August.
Oh, August. Nope.
I think it's capitalization. That's one of my things.
Oh. Let's go back to September. August. There it is. So one of the features we have is you can view the full details for an event. I'm picking this Warlord because it's something that this is our test space, and so we keep adding things to this Warlord event. Is we're building out the functionality so that in AMP you can view like full event details. We're talking date, address. If you want to add it to your calendar, RSVP, things like staff listing.
It does include you can put the runners of the event can put the PayPal link here and can put an expiration date of the PayPal link. So it'll tell you how many days left you have.
Yeah. So
if I back the PayPal link no longer works.
Yeah. So if I back out of my impersonating Iris, right, our basic user, I've now gone back to my admin with full permission. So my menu just got a lot bigger. But I'm going to click the edit on this event just so you can kind of see what types of information can be added. You can see, gathering types, date and time, things for event website, right, pre-registration link, when that date closes, and then other descriptions are in there. So those are things that they can be added to the event. Things like what activities are happening. If folks need to like hire staff and stewards, we're baking that functionality into AMP as well. So there's a lot of really cool potential.
The hope is that we're trying to make webministers' lives easier, and that if this is fully populated, the public link, that public link, that's available. It's an anonymously available link that anything, and if you're logged in, it knows you're logged in, but if it's anonymous, it doesn't. But the point is that anything that might need to go on a standard page for an event, you don't need to go build the event. If you properly populate it here, you get one of these pages built for you with all the information uh, pre-generated. So kind of in theory, if you have a big complicated event, you put it all here, and then the stewards can go manage what they're allowed to manage, and the web minister isn't constantly having to go make changes to an arbitrary piece of HTML somewhere else.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a couple of notes. Kingdom Collegium, the one that happened recently, in the live AMP, looks like that had all the details built in AMP, and there's several other AMPs where the local seneschals or stewards are already using AMP to populate that information, which is super exciting because it means that folks are already starting to use the features before we've really done a push to encourage folks to use it. Jillian has a question.
I just wanted to reply to Lori Peary's question about local marshals being able to create gatherings publicly for the recording as well. Right now, all of that responsibility comes from the seneschal, so we want to make sure that the seneschal knows those gatherings are being created and they are responsible for those things. So if officers are creating gatherings and the seneschal doesn't know about it, that can be a problem, that they're responsible for things that they don't know about. But we have plans in the future to make something so that a local officer can create a gathering and then it notifies the seneschal, yes or no, I'm okay with this, publish it, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Thank you, Jillian. I see a hand from Romanius.
Quick question. So you were saying that the hope is that eventually AMP will replace the calendar, getting back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But if, say I'm a new person that I'm interested in the SCA and I'm interested in what's going on in Ansteorra, will I have to go to the AMP and then try to figure out how to get to the calendar from there, or will it still be available on main site for people to see?
Yeah,
It'll be available on the
will
main site.
make it available on the main site. Absolutely.
We've got a set. It's the view's not actually. It's really kind of hard to get to. It's kind of hidden, but there is a view that is designed to be something you could put in an iframe inside the main site. So we'll just render along the rest of the main site with all the standard rest of the main site's navigation.
Yeah.
Everything will just be a pagelet side of it. Do you have it?
No, but I can show a similar thing. So right now, I think back in January, I made these updates to our officers page. And I'm just using this as an example of how we can take information from AMP and embed it in the Kingdom site or local sites, so that folks visiting our sites still see the information from AMP without actually having to go to a separate platform. So on the officers page right now, we have these tables that show current officers in Ansteorra, and all of this automatically populates from AMP. And we use export and tables so that it's searchable. You can sort by department, branch, etc. And so for the Kingdom calendar, we're envisioning effectively something similar so that folks navigate to ansteorra.org/events, and instead of seeing this, which is manually input through WordPress, they will instead see a similar thing, but that's automatically populated from AMP information. Does that answer your question?
It does. I just want to make certain that for people that aren't part of Ansteorra already, that they have an easy way of locating what's going on and just don't get confused when they come to site. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to make their experience better too,
not worse. Make it easier to find information and not more complicated.